Hey, welcome to Banter. My name is Bernard Muhammad. Tonight on the broadcast, we have Guy Moore, Keith Flournoy, Lowell Cross, Jay Beasley. Welcome to Banter. How everybody doing tonight?
All good, man.
Good. Merry Christmas. Got my Bears hat on. What?
Ho, ho!
Happy holidays to everybody.
Yeah.
Welcome
And a
back
quick
from
shout out.
vacation.
And thank you, bro. I appreciate it. And a quick shout out, Mike Quick Alton. Happy birthday, bro.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Quick.
Let me hit it from the back.
I'm a little scared. I went somewhere else, so I was like, whoa, what? I'm like, whoa.
Hey, Jay, how was your vacation?
My vacation was good, man. You know, of course, again, as always, everybody can say the whole cliche, it wasn't long enough. But I was kind of disappointed in the Arizona weather because it was actually a little bit chilly. I did get a chance to play some golf with my brother and my dad. That was the best day. It was like 62 degrees that morning / afternoon. So we went out and played. I hit him good. I ain't hit him straight. I did hit him far, but I ain't hit him straight.
What you shoot?
That's part of it.
We stopped counting.
Did you hit triples? It's okay.
Say it again.
It's okay. Jesus love you. You hit triples.
Yeah. That's what we said. That's what we said. That's what we said. But it was a battle. It was a battle. No, I was gonna say it was a battle for. It was a battle for all of us, because a lot of us, all three of us, hadn't played in a minute. My dad been so busy, so he ain't really had a chance to hit the links. My brother, he too busy on the Harley, and me, I'm here in the city, so you know how that go. But I had a good time though. My vacation. Yeah, my vacation was good.
Holidays, I'm gonna tell you something else too, man, which is interesting. That's why it's the most humbling game, because if you don't have a club in your hand and just swinging, and you're off for like a month or two, and you get out there, you topping balls, you out there shanking them, you doing all types of stuff. That's why you need beer.
Because I actually wanted to go back the next day. I was like, okay, we got to come back tomorrow. But I mean, you know how it is. But the point is, I had a good time. I had a chance to see my mom and my sister. I met 4 of my nieces and nephews that I hadn't met because they were, was born while they was down there. So I had a good time. My vacation was good. I was ready to come back home. At the same time, I was ready to stay. Back to work tomorrow, unfortunately. But I had a good time. My vacation was good.
Okay.
All right.
So Chicago Bears is playing the Philadelphia Eagles this weekend. But I want to talk about today started the bowl season. And did any of y'all have any topics, any conversation about some of the bowl games you saw today? I know I saw about 2 today. And I plan to watch the Jackson State game tomorrow. And I guess one of my questions is Deion coaching that game tomorrow? What did they decide? Because I know at one point I saw the president said no, he wasn't going to coach. Then I seen some indication that Deion was going to coach it. Was there confirmation yet?
I didn't see anything. I didn't see anything. But to me, I feel like Jackson State should allow him to coach that game. I mean, they probably wouldn't be there if it wasn't for him. So I feel like I hear you, Jimmy. I'll hit you up. I think they should let him coach that game. But, I don't know what the rules are as far as like how Colorado see that and how Jackson State see it. But
you're right, man. And we got sentiments about that whole situation, but
I ain't got no sentiments.
I'm saying sentiments as far as his situation. We talk about his sentiment. I mean, people have their own whatever. We already know how we feel.
Because to me,
what that is awkward, because I know people say, hey, coaches do this all the time. Not really, because you really don't have head coaches leaving to coach another team. So that is very different, because even if you go to the NFL, it's not the head coach that's leaving. It's usually one of the assistants. And usually they have out a job. Do you see head coaches leaving the NFL?
Yeah, what you think about it?
You don't really see head coaches leaving while they're in the bowl. Teams who usually they hire another coach on their staff while they're still playing during the season, because the season is still going on.
But if you think about it real quick, Blake, but if you think about it, It does happen in college. It just doesn't happen as often. How many jobs Lane Kiffin had? Lane Kiffin been at what? Tennessee. He was at
USC.
He was at USC. You know, so he's left schools to go to other schools. It doesn't happen often. Look at Brian Kelly. Well, Brian Kelly got fired and went somewhere else. But at the same time, it hasn't happened before.
They fired. Deion actually said he would be the first coach. I don't know. I haven't checked it. Deion said he would be the first coach to ever be over 2 teams at the same time. That was actually a comment Deion made.
So that's probably why they don't want him to coach the bowl. That's probably why they don't want him to coach the bowl game.
Like it's a conflict of interest between
Nick Saban
with Jackson State from Colorado.
They don't usually make the announcement, and they usually don't win in front of the other team.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm bringing up. No, I haven't heard anything. I heard he was coaching, but I heard the president said no. But the game is tomorrow, so it had to be some decision.
Right.
Yeah. At the end of the
Nick
day,
Saban started out at Michigan State.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Then he went to LSU. Then he left and went to the NFL. Then he ends up over Alabama. Brian Kelly, Lou Holtz. All of these coaches actually do make moves, and they make moves up. What doesn't happen a lot is you have brothers that have those head coaching opportunities, and they're able to make a transition into another similar role. So when we talked about who actually does that, it happens more than we might think, but it doesn't happen for us.
So in college,
that's true. I think the point y'all missing is I'm saying most of the times it's rare when a coach actually have taken a job and met with the other team, right, while the season is still going on. Because a lot of times they wait till after the bowl game is over before they actually meet. That's the point I'm making. I'm not even arguing one way or the other. I'm just saying that could be the reason why Jackson State may not let him coach the game, because he's actually have accepted the other job and he's actually met with the other team. See, when Brian Kelly met with them last year, he didn't coach that bowl game.
Right.
Yeah.
He went there. Soon as the season over, he met with them, and they didn't let him coach that game. Well, he wouldn't go back coach anyway. He just went to LSU celebrate, doing TikTok videos.
At the end of the day, college is more business-like than the NFL. When I say that, I mean you going off of, let's just say you start off at a job, but your end goal is to become the GM. But you know, you gotta turn a few wrenches and stuff like that throughout your career in order to become that spot. So you look at the schools, you started off at Jackson State. So you know, I gotta take the step. That was my stepping stone job. I made a good name for myself. Now I'm hired at a higher position. In this case, is Colorado. And who's to say he's gonna stay at Colorado for the long haul, unless they talking money and dollars. Or unless he makes this a dynasty like how Nick Saban did with Alabama. Because I think if Nick Saban hadn't went to Miami after he left LSU, he would have still been at LSU. But Miami offered him a large lump sum of money. And you know, you want that money at the end of the day. And but it's all about the money at the end of the day, man. Yeah, that's why
I think I see no problem with him taking that job. He it's his life. It's not my life. If that's the decision he want to make, I don't think he owed Jackson State anything. If that's the job he want,
you know what?
If I'm from the school point of view, I might not let him coach. If I think he's going to take some of my players, I might not. I don't know, because he made the announcement, but. That's neither here or there, right? Because
if I'm Deion, I'm not coaching. That school, when he left, the president had something smart to say behind his back. He already was getting money stole from him. People stole from his kids. People broke in his cars. Then you know what I'm saying? It's a whole lot of underlying stuff. After he donated half of his salary to these people to build that school up. So that's how you repay me. You didn't say thank you for the, I wish we could have did better, or maybe I don't even know if they even tried to negotiate or counter what Colorado said, because Colorado
they couldn't do it anyway.
But they
that's
couldn't.
like Bruce.
But listen,
they offer him $1 million.
Right, but it's saying like, okay, if I'm a loyal guy to my school or to whoever, then I'm gonna consider staying. But if y'all stabbing me in the back, why would I consider staying?
Hey, you know what? I'm gonna say this real quick. And
it was a bogus. Hold on 1 minute, guys.
I'm sorry,
real quick. It was a real bogus offer. They offered him $1 million, and he had to pay all his assistants out of that $1 million.
Right.
And there was some other little stuff where really, when he probably did the math, he probably was gonna be back to where he was at.
Exactly.
All right, I'm gonna tell some of it real quick. First and foremost, rumor has it, number one, we're gonna do something real big here. Let's go ahead and make this happen. Reach out to a few people who have a prominence to see if they can come be a part of it. Nobody calls them back. No disrespect to Jackson State alumni, but y'all locker rooms and stuff and areas for it was like sugar honey iced tea. Donates half his salary to fix it up. Empowered quite a few brothers to come and work for him as coaches. So he got some brothers some jobs. As I said offline, what do your mama always tell you when you embark on something? Whatever you do, when you leave it, make it better than it was. Well, let's see. About to hopefully win this next championship. 2 of these things going one. What, 20-something and 5? Some or whatever in the last 3 years or whatever. Let's see. What else has he done? Like I said, when was the last time you seen a SWAC team on ESPN game day as the game? You haven't seen it. That's because of him. So you come up and saying you do this out the kindness of your heart because you're leading some men. You want to make things better. What does your administration say? Oh, well, you know what? We're going to give you $1 million, but you got to pay your coaches out of there. And I don't care what nobody say. People can be butthurt about stuff like that, but let me come to your job and have somebody come tell you, okay, well, you making $40,000. Okay, we're going to give you $60,000, but that other $20,000, you got to pay the people that work next to you. You'd be like, man, you crazy. But because it's somebody else's pockets, people are trying to analyze and reanalyze, rinse, repeat, regurgitate. I have nothing. And it's the best part about it. Comes to Colorado, all types of NIL money, number one. Number two, he's let a couple guys go, so he got some scholarships. Number three, 5 years, $120-some million, top flight facility. Dion, here's the keys to the car. Just tell us what you need. Bring some of his players, and he brought 2 of his guys. So we got 2 black men who didn't lose a job. And to top it all off, his guy, the assistant, if I'm not mistaken, is the head coach now. So here's a guy y'all talk about. He didn't empower some people who were there that are still there that still have jobs. He gave 2 other people jobs. He's brought notoriety to people who wouldn't have gotten it to a school. And what do you do to pay him? You come up as the president, you start talking trash. Well, I hope and pray to God that coach that he has does good, because I'm hoping and praying for him. But when things go bad, let's see what Mr. President gonna have to say when ain't nobody, even doggone public access TV, ain't trying to do their games.
Exactly.
So, didn't he hire? Do y'all think the bowl games relevance have decreased in the last recent years?
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you got
playoffs.
Because of the playoffs, and then not only that, you got guys now that their whole thing is like, okay, I'm not playing in this game. Right. You got a few people already that said, I'm getting ready to train for the NFL. I don't want to take the risk of getting hurt. So now you got teams that you saw during the season in these bowl games and in these playoffs, you're not going to see those players.
Yep.
So yeah, it's changed a lot.
Yep,
and again, I can't be mad at the player because they trying to protect themselves.
Yeah.
So you got a lot of people like, oh, I can't believe Jackson Smith and Jigma ain't playing. Well, guess what? Jackson Smith and Jigma ain't played all season darn near for Ohio State, and they did just fine. Yeah, and they did just fine.
And so what happens if they played and they got hurt? They're sending this nice little bouquet. Couple of teammates that come to president will say, "Oh, Heavenly Father, we're gonna pray for you, amen." And guess what? Oh, you can't play anymore. Well, sir, you know what? It just hurts my heart to say this, but we have to pull your scholarship.
Yeah.
Hey, what you about to say, Mom?
No, I was just agreeing with Jay and Jigma the same way. He ain't played all season, but
he played all season, so
he was projected to be the #1 receiver in college. So his family was like, "No, we just gonna sit him out. It's not gonna mess up his draft stock. He'll still be a first round, maybe second round pick. So Hey, it is what it is.
But you know what? He didn't play for a reason.
We came a long way from when Colt McCoy.
We
came a long way from. Y'all remember when Colt McCoy was one of the biggest names that said, "I'm not going to play in the bowl game," and I want to say he ended up playing in that bowl game, and he ended up getting a shoulder injury in that bowl game.
And that turned a lot of people away from playing.
And look at the kid from Alabama. What's his name? James Williams. He just played his first NFL game because he got hurt. In a game last year, which dropped his draft status. So you can't blame these kids. He is, but you can't blame these kids, man. It's all right now. The college, it's all about money. It's all about money, and you got to protect yourself.
But you know why they didn't play, right? And I'm gonna tell you, everybody can laugh at this, but you know it's the truth. Uncle told him not to play, man. I ain't listen to you. Daddy, mama said don't play. And it's like,
mama say don't play, you ain't playing.
Mama say don't play, you ain't playing.
Right.
That's that.
But getting back to Deion real quick.
Because it's too many, like Jimmy Red said, it's too many bowl games. I mean, I'm looking at a bowl game today, and one team is 6-6 and something like that, and the other team had won 7 games. So I'm thinking, like, what kind of system is this where you actually, that's how many bowl games is that you actually could be in a bowl game and only won 6
participation. It's called what they call now. You get that participation trophy. Right. That's what these bowl games are now. But getting real back,
the toilet bowl.
Back real quick. Didn't Deion Sanders hire Gary Zimmerman for his defensive coordinator at Colorado?
So. Yes, sir.
So right. Hey. So right there, that's an NFL style coach, and you putting together a nice little NFL style.
Putting your stamp on it. You putting your stamp on it already.
I've heard rumors. I don't know if it's true. He might be trying to get Warren Sapp to come in. But think about it. Even if you brought Warren Sapp, as much trash as he talked, Hall of Famer. You got as a kid, even if you don't play at the next level, or if you play at the next level, you got 2 guys. And even if you don't play, when you sitting down watching football, can't nobody tell you nothing. It's like, well, who told you that? Coach Prime.
Right. Remember,
and Coach Sapp. It's like, oh, okay. Now you didn't shut them up because you got 2 of the greats. And these dudes can't do nothing. And like I said before, I said there's certain nuances that they bring because not just ability, but they're just certain things that they had as players and other players don't have. Just like I was saying before, it's like Deion might come up to a cornerback like, if he plays like maybe 2 inches to your left or whatever off your shoulder, it's man. You can look up and see a zone. It could be half zone, whatever. It's certain stuff that it's not necessarily teachable stuff that's being taught, but it's stuff that they figured out and they're passing to these kids. And when they get to the next level,
I ain't hard. I want to tell you, I ain't hard to find.
He ain't. God bless him, man. And I'm off my soapbox now, man. But I'm team Coach Prime, man. I don't care what nobody say. God bless that man. And he's out here doing stuff. The thing he's been doing, it ain't like he just showed up at Jackson State. He's been teaching his kids since they were babies, doing the Little League. He was doing stuff with different players. It's like the Pee Wee League. He's been coaching. What other guy that's probably it's like a unanimous Hall of Famer that's taking his time instead of sitting out here kicking it or whatever, put all his energy into taking these young men, and I will guarantee you this. Julio Jones, a lot of people don't know, he did this little segment with Julio Jones, and he was asking Julio Jones question about your release as a corner, and he said, this my guy right here. To have a guy like that stamp you, not only does it just add around it, but in your mindset, one of the greats just told me do you know how it empowers you as a receiver? It takes you to or even a player, it takes you to another level. So God bless him. I'm Team Deion, man. Coach Prime, do your thing. And that's my sort of alma mater, University of Colorado, but due to unforeseen circumstances and stuff, it wasn't great.
I'm still telling you, guys, I'm not hard to find.
I know you ain't.
I know those who don't know what I'm talking about. That's Deion Sanders' slogan that he's been using to recruit players. I'm not hard to find.
You would have swore he owes some money to some bill collectors because they calling his number left, right, and center.
And then you got to think, man, just as a competitor that Dion is, he wasn't gonna stay at SWAC. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's more competition in the Pac-12 or in the Big Ten, and then you can play in the playoffs in the bowl games. SWAC, I mean, like, not to take away from Jackson State, not to take away from Grambling, Southern, all those spots, but a lot of schools don't want to pay them to play them. So he would have been just good in SWAC. That was it.
As a black man, I would say if you have a chance to go to HBCU, do it. I wish I had done it. My ire has nothing to do with as far as the culture. It's the people who are sitting up top to say that they got your best interest at hand, and all they really care about is getting some dollars, But with Deion Sanders, another thing, and I'll leave it alone, you can look through every level of professional sports. The best coaches were, our opinion, busters. The only coaches I can think of besides Tony Dungy, like Larry Bird, most of those guys who are those elite players, they usually make bad coaches. You want to know why? Because stuff that they could do when they sleep, it takes 5 years to figure out. And the coach is like, man, that's simple. It's like, well, no, it's not. You're a Hall of Famer. But for him to have that patience and that fortitude to understand that he has to subdue his passions, to understand that people can't do what you do, but I can give you the intel to tell you how I go about it. It's priceless, man.
It's just like, I think one example I would say he did give by taking that job. There are a lot of former players who would like to get into coaching, who are refusing to coach because they only want to be a coach in the NFL.
Right.
And or they want to be in big programs. And to me, you saw a guy who's just not a average player, but a Hall of Fame player, actually go and move into a small rural town and uproot his family to move there. And you have to give kudos to him of doing that, because he could have just did like some of these other guys. They'd rather just not coach until they get an NFL job. Right. And he just really got the experience what his experience was at, and he's doing a great job at Jackson. Hey, let's wrap this up and move on. You was about to say something, Jay or Plank, about this topic?
I just had one last thing to say. I think what a lot of people don't understand, if you play college ball, high school ball, is one thing, but any of you brothers and sisters that play some form of college ball will tell you about the pressure. It ain't even just about the wins and losses, because you got these boosters in somebody's ear saying, we got to get to the bowl. We trying to throw you this money. Y'all better go. You got the coaches out there throwing the whip. Every game you play, you could play bumblebutt college, and that one win could make a difference between you going to a playoff or not. Every game that you play, the pressure is high, man. So when you look at these kids out here playing at these institutions, I give them all the respect in the world, because they're expected to perform at the highest levels under all that stuff with people chirping their ear talking about, not like, let's kind of get a win, to you better win. So get your money.
He taught them how to be men too, man. He gave them all suits. He basically taught Jackson State he gave them the blueprint. So it's up to them whether they put it together
to
and
continue
do what he did, right? Because he laid the blueprint, bro.
And that comes into the football.
Boys had to be men.
Let's talk about the NFL.
Suits.
He said, I'm not worried about the NIL. I'm worried about the NFL. And it just real quick. And this was Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley said the OG in the league in basketball now is what, 25? When he was coming up, he had Maurice Cheeks. He had Dr. J. They took him as a rookie out. Man, you can't be getting off no plane with no tracksuit. Come with us. Right. Doc took him to a place, got him fitted for like 4 or 5 suits, teaching him how to act. And what Deion is doing this at the college level. So when these young men leave, one thing that's going to happen through all these institutions, if these men make it to the next level, they're going to not question. They're going to know that these kids are 100% prepared to come play in the league. That's it. I'm sorry.
Hey, so this week coming up, this weekend, man, not only you gonna have bowl games, those who watch the bowl games, you're gonna have 3 football games on Saturday.
Indeed.
And 3 football games on Sunday.
Yes, Lord.
Hey, we gonna get our football fixed this weekend. But with that, talking about the games, I mean, is there any games this week that I know we're not watching the bowl games too much this weekend, but is there any NFL games that game of the week for you?
Who could I say?
I'm looking at
Miami and Buffalo again.
Yeah,
Miami and Buffalo. Miami and Buffalo.
Agreed.
Miami and Buffalo.
I got the Lions and the Jets.
The Lions and the Jets.
That's gonna be a good. I think it's gonna be a tougher game.
That's gonna be. It's several games that's going to.
Giants and Redskins.
Playoff implications. A lot of these. Although we got a few weeks left, playoff implications are on the line because if Detroit lose this week, they can kind of like wrap it up. They ain't gonna be in the playoffs. And what was the other one you said? The Giants and the Redskins. Giants and the Redskins. They fighting right now. Buffalo and Miami. That game is in Buffalo.
Yeah.
Tua played pretty bad last Sunday night.
The last few games.
And now he got to play on a Saturday in Buffalo where they talking about 2 to 3 inches of snow.
Yeah.
So it's some games with some implications this week.
Yeah, I look at it like
because they didn't fell down in the rankings. The Dolphins have.
Yes, they have.
That's what I was about to say. Like you look at the Dolphins, everybody was debating on who was gonna have the changing of the guard, whether it was gonna be Buffalo or who was gonna take New England's spot. So Miami was creeping up this year. They got a nice little offensive roster, but at the end of the day, they need a QB who's consistent, man. Tua is just not consistent. Like I like him. He's serviceable, but I think he needs at least 2 more years, man, before we can actually say, "Oh man, he the truth." But I don't think he has that in him.
And see again, Mo, you say he needs another two more years. Guess what? This the NFL, baby. Not for long.
Not for long.
You ain't gonna get 2 more years to prove yourself.
Nope. Yeah. Nope. You're not.
And Plank, you mentioned the Jets and the Lions and Jimmy Red.
Hold on, y'all. Deion Sanders calling me. Hold on.
Okay.
Oh my God.
I'm just joking.
And so
yes, baby.
That game is going to be interesting because the Jets going to go back to.
Okay. I'll finish up doing my podcast right now, and I still wind up taking a ride.
Mike White got hurt.
I was being greedy, but I still didn't wind up getting nothing to eat. But okay.
Mute your. Oh, okay.
I got it. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that should be an interesting game. But looking at that Dolphin, the division there, and that's a real tight division. Yeah. Because even the team that's the 2 bottom teams both have 7 wins.
Yeah. Yeah. But let's talk about the other elephant in the room with Tua, man. What a lot of people ain't really paying attention to. They're looking at more the X's and O's of the team. Y'all don't realize this dude and doggone had 2 concussions. He already learned the offense. He's learned how to play. I don't care what people, if you don't understand what a concussion is, imagine going as fast as you can and you run into a brick wall. You don't have brakes where it gradually makes you stop. You go from 60 to 0. So your brain hits your skull and bruises. And what happens, it takes a while for your brain to go back. So his I don't want to say aptitude, his reaction time may be a little slower. He can still do the stuff he does, but it's just a little slower. And it's like, who knows? It could be an effect of, it could be effective.
He's a fragile quarterback. He was fragile with Alabama too.
Yeah.
So
he
did
quarterback. A couple times, yeah.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, and I noticed what teams have did in the recent games was Tua like throwing in between the numbers, which is a little different because a lot of the quarterbacks in the NFL throw outside the numbers.
Yeah,
and he throws inside the numbers a lot, but the last few games, teams have been jamming his receivers to throw off the timer, and they're giving him an outside release. Daring him to throw outside the numbers, right? And that kind of messed up his rhythm some as well.
So,
I think you got to unmute Jay.
Jay still mute.
The Bears gave everybody the blueprint on how to kind of shut them down or slow them down. Mm-hmm. They doubled Waddle and Hill and made him throw to the third receiver or tight end. So remember in that game, they was dominating the Bears the first half. The second half, that's when they slowed them down and they came to earth. But that's what a lot of teams have been doing right now because Hill, he's almost unguardable. But if you put two people on him, that'll give the quarterback second thoughts on throwing him the ball. So you have to get it to somebody else because Tua is not all the way developed as a pure veteran quarterback who would still throw it to him regardless because I trust my receiver. But it's like with him, he still has that rookie mentality when it comes to that.
Yeah, Jimmy Red said it perfect. He said cognitive functions are slow. Yeah, that was what I was trying to say, but I just came from work and I shut down. But you know what? That's interesting, and eventually we're gonna do a 1-on-1, and I'm gonna do some stuff on like a 4-3 and a cover 2. If you had a linebacker, I mean, no disrespect to Jack, because Jack's been paying his ass off, his butt off. Excuse me, but. In a Tampa 2, and I'll just tell you real quick what differentiates a Tampa 2 from a cover 2. With a Tampa 2, your middle linebacker is a guy that can drop back in the zone because in a traditional cover 2, you got all the space in the middle. What Jay used to always talk about is guys like quarterbacks, like if defenses didn't have the pass rush, they were trying to get passes off. You see how they complete passes? It's because they're going right to that spot and sitting there, and they're going to get it every time. But with a Tampa 2, if you got a guy like, look at Urlacher. Urlacher was a 4.4 speed guy. He's a 6'4 guy. You drop him in a Tampa 2, when the ball is snapped, he's jumping back in coverage, so you don't have that middle no more. So you technically got another safety. So with us right now, Jack's not that fast. He's not that athletic, or even the guys that we have. So with no pass rush, and we don't have an option to kind of have an advantage of having a faster linebacker, or a middle guy. There was a Tampa 2 guy all day. It's the middle. Guys can sit and throw and just do this all day. All guy got to do is go hit his route and sit.
Yeah, and people forget that Urlacher was a safety in college.
Yeah, in college, right?
So he was into the position.
Okay. Hey, it's time for 2 for 2.
That dude sound goofy.
Give me your top 2 and your bottom 2 this week.
My top 2 this week has got to be the Eagles and the 49ers.
Ooh.
My bottom 2 are the Texans and Lord Jesus, forgive me. I'm going with this. I got because they on a losing streak, man. I'm not gonna say the name, but them.
Well, my 2 for 2 is the Eagles. And as much as I like the 49ers, I like watching the 49ers because they're so fun. Kyle Shanahan has such a vision of what he wants his team to be. And I really like watching the 49ers, man, because they fun to watch. But until the cows come home, I gotta put Kansas City in there, man. So my top 2 is Philly and Kansas City. My bottom 2 is the Texans and
blasphemy.
Them. That's what we're gonna do. It's gonna be a lot. We can't say the name. We can say
I just point to them. Only because, but what I want everybody to say before they hate me, as far as a Bears fan, I love the Bears. The Bears have been more fun to watch this year than they've had the last couple of years, just because of Justin Fields and what they got going on. But right now, it's possible we won't win another game. We might end this season on a 10-game losing streak.
And
Jay, it's sad to say. It's really sad to say, but we having fun losing. Put it that way, because we seeing development. We seeing development, so we having fun losing. But as long as I see the development, which I try to remind people that going into this season, and of course we had expectations, but at the same time we knew what the season was going to be like. So that's my top 2 and that's my bottom 2.
Okay. Hey, Jay, back in October, Jay, you said in October the Bears are not going to win a game in the whole month of December.
I said it. I said it.
At that point, they hadn't even had a losing streak, but you did say that in October that you didn't think they were going to win the game in December. But my 2 for 2 is, guys, the same as yours. I had the Eagles and the 49ers as my top 2. My bottom 2, I have the Texans. And you know what? I'm going to move the Bears out this week, and I'm going to put in the Raiders as my bottom other 2.
Yeah. You can do that. And that team got talent, too, but they got a bad coach. Josh McDaniels is just not a coach. He's just not a coach. He's not a head coach.
I agree.
Yep. So 2 for 2, my top 2. I would say I'm gonna put the Eagles in there, and then I'm gonna go with San Francisco, man. That defense is ferocious, man. And then my bottom two, I'm gonna say Ohio State and
Wow.
all right, now. So my bottom two is the Texans. I'm gonna put the Broncos down there in the bottom two.
Did y'all see Russell Wilson, man? Russell Wilson was on the ground like, let me get a half guard, mild sauce. Baby, what you want?
Hey, what you got playing?
Showed his face, man. Oh my God.
Yeah, 2 for 2. The top two, I got the Chiefs who are playing the Texans, so obviously that's an easy win. And I've got the Bills over the Dolphins. For the bottom two, it's got to be the Texans, and the other member of the bottom two is the Packers.
I can take that.
So there you go. And all of those, I'm going against Jay talking about the Bears aren't going to win a game in December because I got them actually winning this week.
Ooh.
Bring it.
We know.
Ooh. I said if the Bears win another game this year, it would be the final home game against the Vikings because the Vikings, unfortunately, they're a fluke, but they're gonna be resting their players for the playoffs, and the Bears might win that game. But outside of that, yeah, I mean it's unfortunate. But like Bernard said, I said it in October. Looking at the December schedule, brutal. Absolutely
NFL is kind of strange though when you start talking about playing for pride. You know, when you get guys that show up and nobody gives them a chance and every expert picks against them, that kind of gives the team the opportunity to play up to their competition. So as much as everybody as a matter of fact, most of the pundits are talking about we like the Bears to lose all of the games because it gives us a higher draft position. First of all, good GMs can pick no matter who's on the board.
No matter exactly.
So they don't have to have the number one pick in order to pick get a good value. Secondly, just because you pick hat don't mean you're gonna pick good people. Let's remind you of Curtis Ennis.
Right.
I had another name for
Mr. Trubisky.
Mr.
Hey, let's look at this game. The Eagles and the Chicago Bears. Let's start out by looking at this guy here. Very impressive resume.
Rue. All right, sorry about that.
You had to get it. Yeah.
Jalen Hurts. Let's look at his 2022 season. Right now they're 13 games. They won 12 games, lost 1. He's completing 68% of his passes. He's thrown for 3,157 yards. He's averaging 8 yards per attempt. He's thrown for 22 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. Man, that's impressive. I would admit that's impressive.
All I can say is y'all remember my campaign in 2020 when I was like hashtag Jalen Hurts. The Bears should have drafted Jalen Hurts before they drafted Cole Kmet. That's all I was saying. That's all I was saying. He was there.
You want to know something interesting? Last year, the Philadelphia Eagles had a chance to make it to the playoffs if they won their last game, and they chose to go with the backup quarterback instead of Jalen Hurts. It's still the same guy that was out there last year. So that's what got, I think it was Peterson fired and everything else. It didn't make sense for him deciding to defy upper management and making that bonehead decision.
And again, people don't understand. People that don't watch college football, they don't understand. If you watch Jalen Hurts when he was in college, he was a leader.
Mm-hmm.
You know, unfortunately, he lost his job to Tua, which I still don't understand that, which made him transfer to Oklahoma. And you saw what happened there. So this kid has always been good, but what happened was Jeff Lurie, the owner of the Eagles, and their GM put some players around him. They made some shrewd moves, got him A.J. Brown. They drafted Devontae Smith.
His teammate.
it worked out.
They got a full team, right?
They have a full squad, man.
If you follow him from when he was in college, right? When he was with Alabama, his accuracy was off. Alabama doesn't have good quarterback coaches. When he went to Oklahoma, Oklahoma had the last two
Heisman
Trophy winners because Stoops knows how to coach those particular positions. So when he went there, he taught him how to throw with accuracy. When he came to the Eagles, yeah, of course they didn't have a team. So it's kind of like just like our boy here, Fields. When they blitzing so much, and I can't, of course I'm not gonna throw accurate. The game is faster when you get to the league. So naturally, I'm gonna rush my throws, or I'm just gonna use my legs because I know that's my God's gift to to my best abilities and my best attribute. So I don't fault Jalen Hurts. That's I really think he's the MVP. If this dude don't get the MVP, then it's something against it, man. Because of the stats, like the only person who's on his heels is Kansas City. You know what I'm saying? But as far as accuracy, he's very much more accurate than Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Patrick Mahomes was the gunslinger. He doesn't make great decisions. And that's what we keep talking about, the eye test. It's certain stuff that you look at that most people, the obvious stuff people look at, you look at their demeanor. You look at, even if they make a bad decision, why they made that decision. Sometimes when you read into it, it's like, you know what? It kind of makes sense. So with Jalen Hurts, he was lights out. Alabama, and he comes here, but he has the same type of thing, just like with Justin Fields. It's like right now, and I was talking to a guy at work. He's like, well, yeah, it took him a while. It took him longer than quarterbacks. I said, if Justin Fields came in with Kansas City's offensive line, that dude would have been rookie of the year because he'd have been standing back here like this. It would have been easier for him to decipher. But when you don't have it's kind of good for him to come in and not have an offensive line because now it makes him have to fire his fast twitch muscles and make decisions like, okay, like Bernard always say, you just can't throw looking for an open guy. You got to throw him open or you got to do that. So actually that helped him. And when he does get an offensive line, man, that dude will probably be 68, 70%.
And I still say, I still say, I think Jalen Hurts should be the MVP right now.
I do.
This thing, he got 3 interceptions all year. Patrick Mahomes threw 3 interceptions last week.
Right.
Exactly.
And Tom Brady couldn't throw an interception because he was getting.
That's a whole. We need to have a whole show on that, but I'll wait. We need to have a whole show on that one, but I can wait.
Okay, so let's bring up our beloved. Hold on, why is it showing like that?
Dun, dun, Chicago Bears. If
we
win, we're going to
increase it a little bit. I thank everybody who's watching us tonight on YouTube and Facebook.
Hit the
Let's look
subscribe
at
button.
Justin Fields stats. Hold on, let me put this on the side so we're covering up the stats. Okay, what we have here? We have Justin Fields is completing.
Take it down to 100%.
100%?
Yeah, then you'll see both.
Okay. Oh, you know what? I want to take Jalen off. There we go.
Okay.
And you say move it percentage? Is that 100?
No, you're good. Now you can
we good right there. We good right there.
Okay. So with Justin Fields, he's completing 61.7% of his passes. Mm-hmm. He's thrown for 1,896 yards. His average completion is yards attempt is 7.5. He's thrown for 13 TDs. He's thrown 10 interceptions, and I believe he's rushed for
905 yards. I think
905 yards, and I believe
or more.
9 TDs. Yeah, I think he rushed for about 9 or 10, about 8 or 9 TDs. So you can actually say he's accounted for at least about 20 touchdowns.
And about 70-80% of the offense, and this is with a bad team.
Yeah, the interesting thing of his 10 interceptions, I would say 8 of those was at the end of a game.
Right.
Those were like last games.
Last ditch efforts, trying to complete a pass. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
So in one sense, even though if you look at that and say, "Oh wow, he's thrown 10 interceptions on the 10 touchdowns thrown," if you take out the situation of what it was thrown, he's actually managed the ball very well by not turning it over, right? I mean, but he's turning it over in those situations because those are desperate situations at the end of games, right? You may make a throw that you're not necessarily going to make because you're trying to make a play. So, but I'm very impressed when you look at those other 905 yards rushing. So you can see offensively, he's almost accounted for about 3,000, close to 3,000 yards, which is very impressive. Period, but it's impressive, especially for a Chicago Bears quarterback, and that's only with 12 games played.
Yeah,
right?
And he's gonna be the third quarterback in NFL history to rush for 1,000 yards because he will get it. He got 4 games left. He will rush for over 1,000 yards.
Yeah.
So
amazing,
I look at it. The Eagles laid the blueprint for the Bears to follow, man. That's what I honestly think they should have did.
I do too.
They should really look at how the Eagles did it. Like, granted, AJ Brown was a godsend to them because
that was a steal.
Dude,
that was a steal.
That was a steal. If we could find a number one of that caliber, then we'll be fine, man. Because I heard that they were trying to look at Hopkins, trying to grab him. That would be good for Fields, man, because he's a leader and he's a veteran. And he can catch the ball.
And a legit one.
Exactly. He can bail him out.
31 years old.
No, he'll be 20. I think he'll be 29. I think he'll be 29 or 30. Not 31, but I think he'll be 29 or 30. Because I was in Arizona. I was in Arizona for the Monday night game. So I kind of watched a little bit of their hype as far as Arizona goes. But I think he'll be 29 or 30 at the end of the season.
30-31. Okay.
What's that? Tomato.
When it comes to his type of talent, bro, I don't think the age matters right now.
Father Time's undefeated.
But if he was like 35, because he's still playing at a high level right now, and with
he is.
Kyler Murray playing like trash.
You know who's finding out about Father Time right now? OBJ.
Tom Brady.
No, Tom Brady clearly beat Father Time.
Right.
We might as well stop that.
No, that's father. That's father. I was trying to get out the house because I'm about to get divorced.
OBJ is trying to get on the squad, and he thought everybody was just gonna start throwing money at him. He doesn't want to practice for anybody. Doesn't want to show what he can do, and he only wants to play in the playoffs.
Yeah. I was gonna say just to take this off script. How you think somebody gonna sign you and you don't want to work out for them? What's up with that?
But Dallas put his business out there.
They released it was about time.
And it's not like this guy like I'll sign for the veteran minimum. He want to get paid, and you don't want to work out for nobody. Come on, bro. Come on, man. Like Chris Collins said, come on, man.
You had a leg injury too, so it wasn't like you had. I mean, you're a receiver with a leg injury that has kept you out
twice.
But you got injured in February last year, and now it's December, and you just now ready to come back. You don't want to work out. Yeah. We don't even know can you even cut anymore.
Exactly.
Right? We got to see something. I would risk if I see him work out.
And he act like he didn't play in Cleveland poorly for a whole year. Let's not forget that, okay?
Right.
Yeah, that's facts. Yeah. Father Time caught up with Aaron Rodgers. That's what I meant to say.
I think Father John's Coster plus some other type of hallucinogen that caught up Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers like up in the club, he be dropping back doing this like, what you doing, man? He's like, man, let me get a little light.
Hey, I don't know. Aaron Rodgers kind of beat Father Times as well. You talking about a quarterback playing on the other side of 32?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he is 39. He is 39. And guess what? If he don't play in Green Bay next year, he's gonna get a shot somewhere else.
He probably gonna go to the West Coast. He probably gonna go out to the West Coast.
Yeah. I don't think he playing nowhere else other than Green Bay. I think his contract next year is $50 million.
They're gonna probably trade him.
Somebody's going to finagle that contract, and he'll be playing somewhere else next year.
They gonna trade him.
Denver.
Right.
Yeah,
they're gonna with an excuse.
And it won't be San Francisco.
You have an excuse. I like boys. We already know.
Because let me tell y'all something. Hey, let me tell right. I'm going off script, but let me tell y'all something. I'm like Brock Purdy. I'm like, this dude was Mr. Irrelevant. This dude is calm, cool, collective, and comes in and winning. He coming in winning games. Like,
I tell you what,
he been there before.
He sounds a lot like Mac Jones. So let's not put him in the Hall of Fame right now.
No.
Look,
okay.
If this dude can take them to the conference finals, or either to the NFC finals or to the championship, to the Super Bowl, I guarantee you they gonna start calling people on Trey Lance. They gonna
but here's the issue. You got McCaffrey has a lot to do with that. You got Debo has a whole lot to do with that.
But that's his surrounding cast. That's his surrounding cast. Yes.
Yeah, but let's not just make him out to be a Hall of Famer.
I'm not making him out to be a Hall of Famer. What I'm saying is this was the last dude picked in the draft.
Yep.
The third string quarterback.
Yep.
And he's went out and won 2 games.
Because he got McCaffrey and that number 1 defense.
But you need but don't try to misconstrue his offensive numbers though. Look at his offensive numbers in these 2 games. As a third string quarterback, it's impressive. Now I'm not putting him in the Hall of Fame, but it's impressive.
But every second or third string quarterback that comes in that first couple of weeks looks great.
Except ours. Except ours.
Baker Mayfield. But sometimes
I always say a quarterback have at least 3 or 4 good games in them before teams get film on them. And
absolutely.
Now, I will say what I did see with Brock Purdy watching him twice. He does look poised in the pocket.
And that's all I'm saying.
It took some punches. But if he does play well down the stretch, I do agree they are going to probably try to shop Trey Lance.
But if y'all watched the game against the Cardinals when Purdy started, and that's why I say it's coaching. Did you see how Shanahan Debo said he finagled his whole offense around like, okay, what we gonna do? We ain't got no Debo, so we gonna go short screen. We gonna put McCaffrey out wide. We gonna have him to do. It's all about coaching, and coaching is what make players, man. Yeah. You got players that have talent, but when you got a coach that knows how to coach his talent.
I agree. Every year, Cal Shanahan gets out there in the playoffs, and something else gets turned out. You get that, okay?
But think about this.
Garoppolo, whoever, Trey Lance. Every time they get to the playoffs, things start looking a little bit different right at the last minute.
Hey, let's move to this game because I know we almost closing in on an hour. We really haven't talked about this Bears-Eagles game. I know it's not a lot.
Ain't a lot to talk about, right?
I would like to say this before we get to it. I like to say Tammy did an excellent job. I forgot to mention Tammy tonight, but Tammy did an excellent job last week on offensive personnel sets. I got a lot of positive feedback from people who've seen it, who said they learned something from that football 101. Very informative and great job, Tammy.
And it ain't because she a girl; it's because she
know football.
I watched it. I missed the show.
She's a girl.
The last show. I sitting up there looking at it. I was just like sitting up watching it. I saw it twice, and I was like, man.
Yeah, she know her stuff. She know her stuff.
Yeah.
I was telling the guys at work. They was like, well,
sometimes you start talking about Matt Forte should still be on the team. So let's roll back a little bit for that too.
Like I tell people, she just ain't eye candy. She know her stuff.
Yeah,
Hey, with this game, we just looked at Jalen Hurts' number and we looked at Justin Fields' numbers. But besides that, what are your concerns in this game? I mean, we know the Bears are on a losing streak, but let's kind of analyze what are your concerns. I know the Eagles if I got it correctly, the Eagle defense is ranked number 2 in the NFL. They really get after a quarterback for sure. The Bears defense look like they're ranked 19. The Eagles defense give up 19.1 points a game. The Bears are giving up 25.6 points a game. The Eagles offense is on a good drive. I mean, they're ranked 3rd in the NFL, and they're averaging 29.7 points a game. The Bears offense is ranked 22, and they're averaging 20.8 points a game. So with that said, I mean, what are your concerns in this game? Offense, defense? I mean, how can the Bears pull this off? Or can they pull it off?
They can't pull it off. I can't see them pulling this off. The scariest thing to me about this game is that the Eagles will wind up with a lead, which is how they've bolstered their defense. Because what happens is when you a team playing with a lead, that's when your defense pin their ears back and come after the quarterback. The last game against the Giants, they had 7 sacks in the second half because the Giants was down by 21 points. So when you down and you got to throw the ball and they know you got to throw the ball, you're in trouble. That's my biggest thing right now. I would love to see if this game get out of hand, sit Justin Fields down. Let Nate Peterman take that. Let Nate Peterman take that. If you down by 21 points at the halfway mark of the third quarter, sit him down, man. Sit him down. Because guess what? Gardner Minshew gonna wind up playing, and we'll wind up watching Gardner Minshew against Nate Peterman because Jalen Hurts will be on the sideline when his shoulder pass off.
First off, Jay, the Eagles are 12-1, so 13-1, what have you. They got a good record. However, the Bears are coming off a bye, so they had another week to heal up, another opportunity for Getsy and Eberflus to kind of change some schemes and come out with something different, similar to what they did when they played against the Patriots. Nobody gave them an opportunity or a chance on winning the game then either, and then all of a sudden they came out with Justin Fields running the ball and some other things that weren't as predictable as previously. Anytime you start testing the heart of a champion, you're gonna see something that you didn't expect to see. Justin Fields is a champion. He is gonna sit up there and fight, and a lot of these other players, Brisker, the rookies, Gordon, if we start talking about Sanborn, etc., they do have pride. So you're gonna see a whole lot better from an effort perspective than you're expecting. Just because everybody else keeps saying that the Bears need to go ahead and lose that's not the culture that's actually embedded within the team. And if you remember, we're looking at their record, 3-10. What we're forgetting is that they've lost 6 very winnable games.
Yeah.
So these guys are not the pushovers that everybody's trying to put them out on paper. So I'm looking forward to the game, and let's see how this ends up.
The Bears are 1-7 in games where they could have took the lead or won a football game with the last possession.
That's a young team, right?
I agree. I totally agree. I totally agree with you. Unfortunately, I just don't see it that way this week. I want to be wrong. Don't get me wrong. I want to be wrong. But and to add the fact that the Eagles might be looking past the Bears because they play Dallas. They play Dallas on Christmas Eve next week. So any given Sunday, anything can happen. But I just think Nick Sirianni got this team so focused, and Jalen Hurts is so focused, and their defense is so good. I just can't see it happening. I would love to see it happen. I'll be there, and I would love to see it happen. So we'll see.
By the way, Bernard, I got the Bears 30, the Eagles 28.
Okay.
Hold on. Man. You got Plank?
Bears 30, Eagles 28.
Okay, so Plank picked the Bears.
Imagine that.
Imagine that.
And it's not 2-0.
30, 28.
Yes, sir.
30-28.
Okay. Hey, anybody else got any concerns about this? I think my concern about this game is I don't want the Bears to feel the pressure that if they do get down, that they have to come out of character. They should just play their game for to show progress. If that end up being that they win the game, but I do not want them if they was to get behind. I don't want them to sit Justin Fields. I don't want them to all of a sudden start throwing the ball the rest of the game. Yeah. Just play your game. Play what you're good at. If you're good at running the ball, run the ball. And if the score looks lopsided, that's okay. It doesn't really matter that much. Do good, play what you're in, and don't get your quarterback in a situation where you're throwing every down, and it's a team that really could get after the quarterback. So in that sense, I would just say I just want the Bears to do what they've been doing in these other games. Play to their strengths. And every game, if I really look at it, it looked like most of these games that they should have been getting blown out, but they did not get blown out. These games were competitive. These games came down to the end. And sometimes it just looked like, you just don't have enough talent when it comes down to it, and enough experience, right? Because sometimes experience plays into it as well, right? You're not experienced being in those situations. And the more and more you be in those situations, the more that everybody is comfortable. Because it's not just the quarterback, it's the other players. I mean, look how youthful this team is. I mean, one of the oldest veterans probably that started on this team was what, Mooney and
Cody Whitehair. Cody Whitehair.
Right.
Cody Whitehair.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, and he's been out half the season.
Right. And the question you gotta ask yourself is they're looking at they only lost one game. They're pretty much a wrap to win that division, pretty much. What is their mindset coming in? Is this just gonna be just a buffer game? Whereas, I mean, I understand that he's got their guys prepped, but the question is, do they want to go into the playoffs fresh? What's their mindset? But like we say, you could go in. All it takes is for you 1 second to take a playoff and say you're going to coast and it just screw you up mentally for the rest of the year and you out in the first round. But that's what I look at. But I'm going to tell you right now, my belief, I don't think they looking past the Bears because I'm going to tell you something that is happening. Interesting dynamic in the last 3 or 4 weeks or so. A whole lot of teams that were laughing at the Bears, they kind of won't let nobody see them laugh because now they got to deal with Justin Fields. So now if you in single wide, if you're in 11 or you in 21, you actually in 21.1 because every time he dropped back, he's a threat to go 10, 15 yards. And 10, 15 yards, I mean, I don't care how great your defense is, what he does, it's kind of hard to you try to prepare for it, but how you can't prepare for it unless you're playing against it. And it's a whole different ball of wax. I think they're prepared to play the Bears. I don't think they're going to let down. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. The Bears 17, the Eagles 30.
What you got,
I'm
Mo?
looking at it. I'm looking at it like this,
the
man.
Eagles.
I picked the Eagles.
Oh, you picked the Eagles too?
I picked the Eagles. But I'm looking at it like this, man. What I want to see is the same thing I wanted to see 2 weeks ago. I want to see the people who are supposed to make plays make plays.
Yep.
I want to see what Leatherwood can do against an elite defense. I want to see what Braxton Jones can do because he's been playing well. People don't understand.
Last couple of weeks, yes.
All year.
I want to see him. I want to see him. I want to see what Tevin Jenkins do. You know what I'm saying? I just want to see what these guys do now that they have an elite line in front of them. So now I want to see what these guys can do. I want to see what Claypool can do.
He's out.
He's out. He's already ruled out. He's already been ruled out.
Okay. So
he's already been ruled out.
He's a scratch then.
He can
do
this.
I want to see Eberflus get Kmet involved in the offense, man, more because Kmet is a threat. People don't understand that this dude is a threat. I watched Kerry Kittles last night. I said Kerry Kittles. I watched George Kittles last night, and that dude is a threat, man. And if Purdy can throw him the ball, they can design some plays for Kmet to get open like that.
Don't mention George Kittles and Kmet in the same.
Now listen to what I'm saying. Talent-wise, people don't understand. Kmet has talent, bro. Like real talent.
I agree.
It's a matter of drawing up plays.
It's a matter of getting
drawing up plays to get this dude the football. because he can go up and get the ball, man. We saw it when he caught that one-handed pass. Damn near he did a 360. So this dude he's off the chain. Just run the ball down their throat. Try to wear this defensive line out. Don't try to do anything extra creative, because we don't have the personnel right now. Claypool is out, Mooney is out, so it's like, bro, who you got to throw it to? We don't. We saw what happened when your boy tried to run a route, and everybody predicted where he was going. And
talking about Equimini St. Brown.
Oh my God, man!
Dude, you can't as a wide receiver, and I wasn't on the show for that. But I'm gonna tell you something.
Oh my God.
As a wide receiver, you got to be able to stop on a dime and come out your break. You cannot televise your route. When you're running a route and you chop your feet 10 times and say, I'm going to come back to the quarterback already know. He already know, like, okay, he running to come back. I'm going to jump this real quick.
And you're a professional, bro.
And you're a professional. But to get back.
His brother's a professional.
Hey, so Mo,
to get back to the.
So the score. Yeah. The score I got the Eagles 33. I got the Bears 17.
17. Hey, you know what?
We're in the same ballpark. I'm just going.
Is get more opportunities because they're blocking better?
Say it again.
Is Komet getting more opportunities because the offense is blocking better?
The offensive line is blocking better.
You know what?
You don't have to help with the
absolutely, Bernard. Absolutely, Bernard.
Yeah, I think that played a important part in him being able to run routes because they're protecting better.
That too, and I think Fields is finally trusting him because eventually you're going to develop a friendship or on the field friendship with your receivers or your tight end, and that's like one of his targets. He's gonna have to make that one of his targets, man.
Right. Yeah, I want y'all to go back and look at some of the scores of these games that the Eagles played. So right now, because of the Eagles' record, everybody's anointing them as Super Bowl champion, but they've had a lot of close games against the Eagles, against the Commanders, the Cardinals. Yeah. It's not like the Eagles are just going to show up and they turn into the 85 Bears.
Right. That's true.
Keith, I love your perspective. I love your perspective, Keith. I love your perspective.
Bro, I hit people in the mouth no matter how big they are. We just try to see.
You don't discriminate.
But my thing about this game is what Getsy has to do is stay true to himself and run the football. I think Montgomery should have 25 or 20 plus touches in this game.
That would be good.
I think that kid Drayton Evans. I like him.
Yes.
It looked like he could do something in space, so you might need to get him the ball. But if they can limit the Eagles' offensive time on the field, they have a better chance. It's just that with our defense, I don't trust them. We don't hit the quarterback. We got 1 sack in the last 7 games.
Wow.
You have an elusive. Absolutely. We have 1 sack in the last 7 games. And I think if I remember correctly, we got 10 quarterback pressures in the last 7 games. I'm not talking about quarterback hits. I'm talking about pressures. So against Green Bay, all we had was a chase. We didn't even have a pressure. All we had was a chase of Aaron Rodgers being chased out of the pocket.
So the chase we had was Chase Claypool.
So with that being said, I just think if they can limit the offensive snaps that the Eagles have, they got a puncher's chance. But outside of that, I can't see the Bears. I don't see the Bears winning this game. I actually see this game, unfortunately, as one of the games that we haven't saw all year. I'm expecting, unfortunately, a blowout. I really am. And I hate to say it, but I'm expecting a blowout. I'm expecting something like 44 to like 18, 44 to 20, something like that. I'm really expecting Jalen Hurts not even playing in the fourth quarter. That's what I'm. I hope it don't happen, but that's what I see.
You know the Eagles beat the Colts 17-16, right?
Okay.
Like, yeah, we keep acting like the Eagles and beat everybody in the world, and
But Keith, what I want you to understand is where my thinking is coming from is our defense is bad.
It's horrible.
And because our front seven is bad, and with the Devontae Smith and AJ Brown and Goddard at tight end, I just see Jalen Hurts having a field day because he's not going to be pressured, he's not going to get hit, and he's not going to get sacked.
But we do get Brisker and Gordon back for this game, so that's going to make.
Yes, we do. Well, that makes a difference. That makes a difference. But if your secondary has the cover with no pressure, it's a problem.
I agree.
Somehow we lost Mo on the broadcast. I'm not sure what happened with Mo.
Mo brings plenty.
Mo, where you go? So, you know what?
You ready?
Bernard, just to give you my score, I'm predicting Eagles 44-20.
Wow!
Okay.
Holy mackerel!
All right. I'm gonna
what you have,
you some messages during the game.
I just say that that's I've preached it all the time, and that's just been my philosophy. And it was something that I learned from a guy that coached before, and he asked me. He said, "What if you got a team that's not so great going up against a great team? Is there a possibility for them to win?" I'm like, "Pretty much not." He was like, "I could tell you something that don't even take talent, and you can win a game." I was like, "What's that?" He said, "Control the clock." So if you can get like 10, you have to, and he said, and from what I understand, for right now, for us to even have a chance to beat the Eagles, we have to have the ball for at least 10 minutes more than they do. And I don't really see that happening.
Absolutely.
If it happens, if they are like 10 minutes plus 10 minutes, they have a shot. But if it's like 6, 7, 8,
Absolutely. I agree.
So what's your score, guy? I didn't get it.
I had 30-17 Eagles.
17
Eagles, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, you get to me wrong. So
what you got, Bernard?
I got, man. I think this game is gonna be close as far as score.
I hope so.
Yeah, I think the only Achilles heel is gonna be on the Bears is just their inability to put pressure on the quarterback.
Yep.
And I think this is just gonna be the difference in this game. But I have this game 30-24. With the Eagles winning. And I wanted to look at this right here because I'm us not in the hunt no more.
Man, I ain't been in the hunt.
Only those who got six victories are in the hunt.
That's only 2 games. Please, that's all right.
Yeah, right. It's only a 2-game league. It's only a 2-game league. Things can change.
Yeah. I'm just saying that in reference to catching Claude Bassett now, right?
Oh no, we ain't catching.
Yeah,
we ain't catching Claude Bassett this year.
Yeah,
that ship has sailed.
I think it's Claude, Deidre, and Cletus. Those are the people that if you ain't got at least 6 victories, you're not even in the hunt no more. But Mo 6 and 7, Jay 6 and 7, Guy, and Christian 5 and 8, Plank and myself and Tammy are all 4 and 9. Quick got 5. Tammy actually said that the Bears was going. Can you believe this? Tammy said the Bears was going.
Right. That's why I said they're going to win.
That's why I said. That's why I said they're going to win.
That's why I said they're going to win because Tammy picked the Eagles. Tammy picked the Eagles, so the Bears might win. They just might win. For real.
Right.
So we're gonna have, like I say, we're gonna have football all day tomorrow. Probably have the only break you're gonna have is before 11 o'clock, and you'll get another break until about 9:30.
9:30.
All right,
hopefully
I like it like that.
Hopefully your chair is situated close to the restroom because
we'll see y'all Sunday, 30 minutes after the game. Did any of y'all have anything else before we close out for tonight?
Oh, say happy birthday, Bruce Hollywood Wilson. He's
Bruce Hollywood.
Happy birthday, Hollywood.
Me and B
happy birthday,
a couple weeks ago. He's doing a lot better, man.
Good. Happy birthday, Fred. Happy birthday.
And Jay, you better put the link to that sweatshirt because I didn't see a lot of people about to bite you, bro.
All right.
Yeah,
thank
I'll
y'all
do
for
that.
watching tonight, watching Bears Banter. We'll see you 30 minutes after the game on Sunday. Peace.
Peace.
I forgot.